Okay, so first of all, it's AP, which some people might not know means advanced placement. So it's designed for more advanced high school students. It's going to be a little more challenging. It's more in depth, and the assignments are going to be harder. The readings are going to be harder. It's based on the College Board's um, guidelines for AP classes. And so I put the syllabus out there to get approved by the College Board. So it's a College Board approved class, and it's designed for students that want to go on and study in college, that want to go on to higher levels of study.
Mhm. Excellent. And this class, this one's unique too, in that it can be used for dual enrollment. Is that right? Or you can have both college and high school credit for it. How does that work?
Exactly. So that's one of the biggest benefits, because some people just might want a more challenging class for their kids, which is totally understandable. But a lot of people also are motivated by the fact that they can get college credit for this class. It's high school and college credit really at the same time. Most colleges accept AP credits, and so it's a great opportunity to save some money and also get a kind of more challenging class. Yeah, so financially it can make a lot of sense for families.
Mhm. Yeah, and that's great to know because I know that the AP classes, they can feel a little bit intimidating, um, perhaps to students. So that's the benefits there. That's tremendous to get to know. Um, are there any classes or coursework for this type of class that you recommend that the students have had or at least be familiar with? Any prerequisites?
Yeah, so I don't have a formal application, but I do have a little higher standard for this class. So I expect students to have strong reading comprehension, maybe a general background with government, maybe some exposure in middle school to government. Of course, if they took my intro to government class, they're good to go. But basically, some sort of general knowledge that would support the fact that they're ready to jump into this. It is a big commitment. I just don't want students to get discouraged if they can't understand it, or that type of thing. So for parents, I would just encourage them to email me if they have any doubt, if they fit, because I may ask students just to demonstrate their competency. If there's some doubt here, parents might think, well, my students really accelerated in most areas. If that's true, they're probably fine. It's because they'll be able to pick up the content as we go.
Sure. Well, and is it, did I read it correctly that on your course description that if students take your intro classes, they should be pretty prepared for a class like this?
Definitely, yeah. So my intro classes are going to be have a similar flow. Well, specifically government, I guess, would be in this case. So if they took my intro to government class, that's going to have similar content. It's going to expose them to the basic ideas of government. It's just not going to be quite as in depth. So that's definitely a satisfactory prerequisite.
Good deal. That sounds great. So as far as your live session goes for your class, for the AP class, what might that look like? What's a typical online class meeting look for the AP course?
Yeah. So this class probably will make a little more like a group format, group discussion or conversation, because a lot of the students will be asked to read the textbook a little more out of class, and then maybe come with questions or ideas that they want to share. And then part of the class will also be me, leading the discussion and then adding extra ideas and guiding them through some important details that will be important to, do well on the test. So that's the way I plan to structure this one. Yeah.
Okay. And then outside of your class time, what would a typical week's worth of work outside the class look like for a student taking the AP Government and Politics?
Yeah, so a lot like the other classes, but there will be textbook reading. Students will also do some writing, and then they'll collaborate with other students. So students will read other students' papers and give their comments. And then of course I'll be involved in grading as well. And so, yeah, just in general, a little more work, some more activities. And so I estimate about 6 hours of work outside of the live class.
Okay. And so the intro classes, you said you estimated about 3 hours outside of class. So this is like double that. So that's good
Exactly.
for parents to keep in mind
Sure.
what their students' schedule can allow for too, for sure.
Yes.
But it sounds like you have some fun projects lined up for this class too. Tell us about some of those projects that you have on your course description.
Yeah, so like I mentioned in my intro to government class, I have the students look into political parties and they can do a little research on them. In this class, I'm going to have students do a mock campaign. So it kind of takes it a step further, and they're going to take that information and then be able to kind of put it out in a creative way as to how a political campaign might look. Gives them a chance to see the political side of things and also express ideas in a creative way. Political cartoon drawing will also have that concept as well. So I think these are ways that students can express themselves kind of creatively and also, reinforce and go back over those ideas and concepts that we've talked about. So yeah, I'm looking forward to those.
Yeah, that sounds really fun. It sounds like your students are going to have a great time. So along that line, what do you feel is one of the greatest takeaways that students will receive from this class?
Yeah, so aside from the benefits of taking an AP class, like we talked about financially, really, I love that students can walk away from this class being more knowledgeable and able to engage society. I think it makes them better citizens, better voters, and so just by taking a government class, students become much more able to engage the political arena and understand the political process. I mean, the political process can be very confusing for all of us, and if you have a kind of a leg up on society, I think it creates an awesome opportunity to engage that political debate and climate that we see going on today.
Definitely. Yeah, that sounds wonderful. So as a parent, and when I'm looking at my courses that I'm trying to decide for my high schooler, how much parent support would you say is typically needed for this class? Or are you expecting this, like students should be working pretty much independently by the time they're taking these types of classes?
Yeah, I think of it mostly as independent because I don't think parents should have to support heavily, depending on the student. But parental support is definitely appreciated and I think always helpful. It may just be helping the student study for the weekly quiz. I've had parents say like, "Oh, I love talking with my student about the class because we got in these great conversations." So I think it's good for both parents and students to kind of obviously learn together, enjoy discussing different topics, and it reinforces the ideas that students are learning. Just any time they go back over the content and have to talk about it, not have to talk about it, but they talk about it, that's better for their learning outcomes, obviously.
Yeah, it's so great. I love it when class time can move to the dinner table too. It's always
Exactly.
with the whole family